Strong men build discipline. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Discipline being superior to motivation. Discipline being superior to following your heart. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer. I am your host, Carl Wimmer, and I thank all of you for joining me this week for another fantastic episode that we're bringing to you in hopes that we can help benefit your life, help to increase your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. I would encourage you, if you enjoy these episodes, to subscribe, to click the bell button, and to share these episodes with someone you love, someone who needs a little bit of assistance in their physical life, mental life, or even their spiritual life, especially your first responder friends and family members. Well, a couple weeks ago, I guess it's been almost a month ago now, was Father's Day. And we here at First Responder Fitness did an episode on Father's Day. It was a special episode. And we were surprised at the overwhelming amount of comments and feedback and emails that we got from you, our viewers, both men and women, the positive feedback about that particular episode. And it made me realize that there is what seems to be a hunger in our community as first responders, a hunger in society that desires to push back against the narrative that we have continually been fed, the narrative that fatherhood is expendable, the narrative that masculinity is toxic, the perpetual narrative that anyone can be a man, anyone can be a woman, you just have to choose what you want to be, or if you feel like you were born with the wrong set of plumbing, you can just identify as whatever you would like. When the reality, the sane biological reality, is that men and women are unique and they are different and they are both necessary, obviously, for society to move forward. I think about the great men of history and all of the things that they have accomplished. And I think, where in the world would we be as a country, as a society, as a people without strong, masculine, leadership-filled men? And so that is what I want to talk to you about today. I want to focus on really a lie that we have been told, a lie that all of society has been told, but I really want to direct this towards the men who watch First Responder Fitness. Now, if you are a woman, if you are a young person, don't tune out. I encourage you to watch, because there is so much good information that is included in this episode that it can be applied to everyone across the board. But today, very specifically, I want to talk to the men of the first responder community, to the men of America, to the men in our society. Because, see, there's this great lie, and it continues to be perpetuated throughout society. And in fact, not long ago, we had high school and college graduations take place. And all around this country, we had administrators from the school districts, valedictorians, and people standing up and giving their pontifications and their advice to new graduates. And if I was to venture a guess, a large portion of these speeches would have given advice to the new graduates of the particular class, whether it be high school or college. And included in this advice is this new age, new trendy advice, this advice that is always at the tip of everybody's tongue, which is follow your heart. Follow your heart. This idea that the heart will lead you where you need to go. That is a lie. And I want to rip that idea to shreds today, because following your heart is a horrible way to live your life. You see, we've been told, and this is just different words that mean the exact same thing. We've been told, follow your heart, or in other words, follow your motivation. Wait until you're motivated, then act. Okay? But here's the truth. Following your heart, motivation, all of those are emotions, and emotions are unstable. A man who follows his emotions isn't much of a man, and they're certainly not a leader. They are tossed to and fro with every fickle feeling that comes into their mind. Strong men do not wait for a feeling, for an emotion, for motivation. Strong men build discipline. And that is what I want to talk to you about today. Discipline being superior to motivation. Discipline being superior to following your heart. Strong men lead their hearts. They do not follow them. I put some thought into this, and one of the things that I do in my private life is I do a fair amount of unofficial marriage counseling. I had the opportunity just back in May to perform the wedding of my son and his beautiful bride. And we counseled 3 separate times prior to that wedding. We did 3 different sessions of premarital counseling. I do postmarital counseling with individuals as well. And the one thing that you will never hear me tell anyone ever in a marriage is to follow your heart. Because the way I look at it is this: you follow your heart into the marriage. What happens when the butterflies go away? What happens when you go through a really, really rough patch in your marriage and you say, oh, we just fell out of love, and at the exact same time, that stud at your workplace or that little honey at the gym is giving you a little extra attention, and you get those little Twitter-pated feelings, those little butterflies, and you think, oh, well, that must be my heart leading me in this direction. And so you follow your heart right into a divorce. You follow your heart right into wrecking your family. You follow your heart into familial destruction. You see, you follow your heart. You follow your heart, you'll follow it into apathy. You'll follow it into distraction. You'll follow it into destruction. That is what following your heart or relying on feelings or relying on motivation does. But if you lead your heart with discipline, you'll become the man your family, your calling, and your society and your God require you to be. Jeremiah 17:9 from the Old Testament in the Bible tells us the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can understand it? The heart. And yet we're told to follow the heart. We don't follow our heart. We lead our heart where it needs to go. That is what strong men do. Strong men lead their hearts. They do not follow them. Understand, if you follow your heart, you'll follow it straight into destruction. But if you lead it, if you lead your heart, if you discipline your heart, you have a life of stability and success. If you don't, the world will do it for you. If you don't lead your heart, if you don't discipline your heart, if you don't discipline your life, the world will take you wherever it wants you to go. And in most cases, that's a bad place to be. A couple more examples I'll give you, and then we'll move on, is just what happens when your heart falls in love with a particular vehicle. Oh, I got to have it. My heart's leading me there. Or what happens when you fall in love with your place of employment, but after a few years, that vehicle gets old. Your job gets to be drudgery. Do you just follow your heart to the next vehicle, to the next $60,000 of debt? Do you follow your heart to the next job, bouncing from job to job because, well, you're just following your heart? Motivation is a feeling. Following your heart is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. And if you don't choose discipline, you're choosing failure in life and all around you, in your family, in every aspect of your life. If you don't choose discipline, you're choosing failure. And I want to talk to you men today about two different areas where you need to discipline your life. Not follow your heart, not follow your motivation, but lead your heart, lead your motivation. The first one I want to talk to you today about is physical discipline. Your body is a tool. Your body is the greatest gift you could possibly have been given. And you neglect your body at your own detriment. The overwhelming amount of men in this country, in the United States, are obese. The overwhelming majority of people in the world are obese, soft, unhealthy. They have bad knees, bad hips, bad backs. They have bad hearts. They got diabetes. They got atherosclerosis. They got high blood pressure. They have sleep apnea. They have all of these things that are just continuing to deteriorate their lifestyle. Physical discipline is not about just looking good. It's about being ready as a man to do the things that you need to do, that you are called to do as a man. It's not about looking good. It's about being ready to protect, being ready to lead, and being prepared to endure the things that life throw at you. Firefighters, you don't run into a fire because you're inspired to do it. You do it because you are called to save people, and you are called to fight fires. You are called and disciplined to do so. Law enforcement officers, when you're called out at 3 a.m. for a SWAT call out or any other thing that you are needed to do as a detective, whatever the case may be, you don't get up at 3 a.m. because you're motivated to get up. You get up because it's your duty. You get up because it's your discipline that gets you going. That same mindset is how you train your body. Discipline means showing up every day, even when you're tired, when your muscles ache, and when no one else is watching. That is discipline. Taking care of your body and taking care of your health isn't vanity, it's stewardship. You're required to take care of your body. Your body is a gift. It's a temple given to you by God. And you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your maker to take care and steward your body, to be a good steward over your body. Understand this, men. You're not working out to have pretty abs. You're training for war. And if you are on the front lines as a first responder, you are literally, in many cases, training for mini battles. You're training to fight. You're training to defend society. You're training to arrest bad guys and protect the innocent, to protect and serve. You're training for war. Weak men lose those battles, while strong men prepare. We need to physically prepare and be strong. I want you to think about this for a second. If one of your loved ones needed to be carried up the stairs or carried out of a fire, could you do it? And I know that those of you that are deconditioned, those of you that are soft, those of you that are weak would say, oh, yes, the adrenaline would kick in and I could do it. If you're waiting for adrenaline to kick in so that you can do something physical, you're whistling past the graveyard, my friend. You don't hope that adrenaline will be enough to drag your unconscious daughter up the stairs and out of a burning home. You prepare for that. And as a father, as a husband, as a first responder, you have a duty to your family to be physically conditioned and in shape. Not only for your own self, your heart, your longevity, and your health, but for your families. You have an obligation. Men, listen to me. You have an obligation to protect your family. You have an obligation within your greatest capabilities. Now, if you have disabilities or you have things that prevent you from exercising, physical handicaps and those types of things, I understand. No shame. You can take other steps to protect your family. But if you're just lazy, if you're just soft, if you are the type that would just rather sit on the couch eating Twinkies and potato chips rather than disciplining your body, you are not doing what you are required to do to be a leader in your home. As a husband and as a father, you are not preparing yourself. You are not training yourself to protect your family. And you're just hoping that when you're out with your wife, that you're hoping that others in society will not victimize her or victimize you. You're hoping when you're out with your kids to the fair or to whatever, the carnival, wherever, you're hoping that when you are out at a restaurant with your family, that somebody doesn't come up and start trouble with your kids or your wife. Because what are you going to do if you are 250 pounds of mush? If you are weak, if you're deconditioned, if you have no fighting skill, if you have no training of any sort with weapons, anything, what are you going to do? You're gonna get angry. You're gonna see red, and then people just don't even know what kind of fighter you are. No, if you're not preparing, you're preparing to fail. That's all there is to it. You don't need motivation to get fit. You need a why that outweighs your excuses. Let me say that again. You don't need motivation to get fit or to get in shape, to get strong. You need a why that outweighs your excuses. And if your children and if your wife is not a big enough why, then what kind of man are you? And I know I'm speaking rough here. I'm speaking tough. But men, it is time for you to rise up and answer the clarion call on your life. And I got to tell you, I'm not this alpha. You got to be alpha. A few weeks ago, here in my particular state, there was this organization. I don't even know what it's called. Some man organization that was putting on a seminar, and they were selling tickets, and they said, come learn to be a man of action, an alpha man. And it's just so funny because every one of their speakers had a mustache and a beard, and they looked like they were military operators, right? But as you start to research them, I'm not sure any of them have even been in the military at all. I'm not sure that any of them have been a first responder. None of these alpha dudes who are going to teach you how to be alpha have ever looked death in the face. Like, in other words, they've never had to stare death in the face and make life and death decisions that would result in their death or the death of the person trying to kill them. You know, in other words, like real serious stuff that first responders and military people have to deal with. They haven't had to deal with real alpha stuff. Look a little bit further into these alpha guys, and a majority of them have been divorced. So is that alpha? Letting your family be torn apart? Letting your marriage crumble? Is that what an alpha male does? I'll tell you, I have a friend, he's in his mid-80s. He's been married now for over 60 years, Larry and Darlene. And I would rather spend an afternoon with Larry learning from him than I would with these alpha males, right? Because Larry has been in the mix. He's been a law enforcement. He's been a first responder. He's been married for 60 years. Larry is an alpha male. And he's someone you can learn from. A lot more than someone who's a self-proclaimed alpha who's going to charge you $200 to go sit and listen to him pontificate. But I digress. Men, there is a minimum fitness standard that you should be able to uphold. And there's no shame. If you have let the years get ahead of you and you have a big belly and you like to sit and drink beer and watch TV and you have no physical activity during the day, it's not too late for you to change that. You need to create a minimum fitness standard for yourself, one that you will meet no matter what it takes. You see, motivation won't do that for you. Following your heart won't do that for you. Your heart and your motivation has led you right to the couch and has put you 90 pounds overweight. That's where your heart leads you. That's where motivation has led you. And every year, New Year's resolution, you set a New Year's resolution, I'm going to lose weight, get in shape. And how long does that motivation from the New Year's resolution last? Oh, about a week. maybe 3 weeks if you're really, really motivated. What happens when the motivation runs out? That is the epitome of following your heart. Because what happens when your heart's not in it anymore? It takes discipline. You need to learn to train even when you're not motivated. I tell people all the time, I think the last time I was motivated to work out was back in the 1990s. I don't rely on motivation, yet I'm at the gym 6 days a week. I rely on discipline. I don't allow my body or my motivation or my lack of motivation, my desire to sit down and eat ice cream, I do not allow the physical desires of my body to dictate what we do. I follow discipline. And that is just so critical. Discipline will change your life. Motivation will ruin your life. You need to track your progress and show up for the future you're building. What kind of future do you want? What kind of body do you want? What kind of strength goals do you want? And then go get it. Go get it. Don't stay motivated for a week. You need to stay motivated until you reach your goals. And don't compromise with yourself. Go out there and accomplish something. Men, when are you going to keep a promise to yourself? When are you going to keep a promise to yourself? Quit lying to yourself. You know, you set these goals and these resolutions, and you know what? Some of you don't even do that anymore because you're tired of lying to yourself. You don't even set resolutions. Less and less people every year are setting New Year's resolutions because they know they won't keep them. Well, why won't you keep them? Keep a promise to yourself. For once in your life, set a goal and keep the promise you make to yourself, no matter how long it takes. If you weigh 280 pounds and you're obese and you have high blood pressure and you have diabetes and you have sleep apnea and you have all of these health conditions and you're on the fast track to atherosclerosis, you're on the fast track to a stroke, you're on the fast track to a heart attack, and you're like, okay, I got to lose 80 pounds. Go do it. And it may take you 9 months. It may take you 8 months, 80 pounds, 10 pounds a month. That's a lot. It might take you a year. And that's okay. Go do it. That's why we created the Habits to Healthy program for all of you. It's in a different, you can go to our homepage and click on the Habits to Healthy and start following along. We want you to get into the habits of doing things long term. Your goals need to be long enough. Your why needs to be strong enough. And your motivation, well, forget about it. Use discipline. The second discipline I want to talk to you about just briefly is relational discipline. Too many men are warriors out in the world, yet they're ghosts in their own home. Your family doesn't need your leftovers. They need your leadership. First responders, men on the front lines, you are a warrior at work, protecting and defending and scrambling and saving people. Yet when you go home, you disconnect, disengage, and you ghost your family. You do not, your family does not deserve your leftovers. They deserve what is best. They deserve your best. And sometimes that takes discipline on your part. Leadership in the home is intentional, daily, and oftentimes inconvenient. So it requires discipline. Not following your heart, because I know what it's like to work a 12-hour shift Over time, you're tired, you're exhausted. When you get home, you don't want to talk to nobody, you don't want to see nobody, you want to just veg out. That's following your heart, my friends. My heart says I'm going to go and I'm going to be by myself. And I don't want to have to listen to my wife. I don't want to have to do the dishes. I don't want to engage in my children's homework. I want to just be alone. Guess what? Following your heart will destroy your family. Following what you're motivated to do will destroy your family. Disciplining yourself to do what you must do will make your family thrive. I think of this beautiful scene, this scene in the movie Gladiator, where Maximus is asking his assistant, he says, do you like doing what you do? Do you like your job, or something along those lines? And the guy says, most days, he says, sometimes I do what I want to do. Most days, I do what I have to do. That is discipline. Doing what you have to do. Eventually, you learn to love what you have to do. What does discipline in the home look like? It means giving your wife more than a nod. What's up, babe? Okay. Or your kids more than a pat on the head as you pass by to go to your room and get on the internet. It means presence. It means prayer. It means intentional pursuit. You should be pursuing your spouse until you're dead or she's dead. You should pursue them with the same vigor you did when you were courting them. Because otherwise your marriage gets stale. I'm staring 27 years of marriage right in the eye, coming up on July 1st, 27 years. And I pursue my wife intentionally all the time. I engage. I am active. I am involved. I try to create adventure, thrill, excitement, even a little bit of fear, new things into our marriage. It is intentional. Again, leadership in the home is intentional, daily, and oftentimes an inconvenient discipline. We're reminded by God's word to love your wives as Jesus loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ didn't love with just words. He loved with sacrifice. Men, you are called to love your wives with sacrifice. Not with your motivation and not only when your heart's in it. You are called to love with sacrifice. Your wife deserves a man who prays for her, who advocates for her, not just pays the bills. One of the most sobering things I could tell you as a man and as a father is that your daughter, if you have a daughter, I have one of the, greatest treasures of my life is my daughter. Your daughter is learning how a man should treat her by watching how you treat her mother. Do you understand that? And I have seen that in her. She is now with a man who also happens to be a first responder, who treats her the way she needs to be treated and the way she deserves to be treated. She's in a healthy, good relationship with him. And one of the things that she accounts for that is years of seeing how I treat her mother. Your daughters are learning the way a man should treat them by watching the way you treat your wife. So what are you teaching your daughter, men? What are you teaching your daughter? How are you treating her mother? Are you loving your wife? Are you pouring into your wife? Are you protecting your wife? Men, stop giving your family the scraps of your energy. Give them your strength. Give them your discipline. So I want to just list for you just a few action points, some things that you need to do every day, some things that you can add to your disciplines. Okay? First and foremost, get your physical house in order. Get your physical house in order. That means your body. Start exercising. Watch your nutrition. Cut out the crap junk food that doesn't serve you anymore. Go watch more of our videos. Jump on board with the Habits to Healthy in a Year program. Do something rather than sitting there and deteriorating and getting old and out of condition. Secondly, spend at least 10 focused minutes a day with your spouse. No distractions. You see, the first one was a physical action. This is a relational action. Spend at least 10 minutes. That's nothing. 10 minutes focused with your family, with your wife. No distractions. I highly recommend that as long as you can, that you sit down as a family to dinner. Help make dinner. Make dinner. But sit down as a family at the dinner table. The next physical action point is to train even when you're not motivated. Get to the gym even when you're not motivated. Discipline yourself. Discipline will carry you a lot further than motivation. Train even when you're not motivated. The fourth thing, which is, again, a relational issue, lead with words of life. Speak kindness. Speak blessings. Speak discipline into your family. Speak words of life. Lead with words of life. Finally, I would encourage you to take your kids on individual dates. Create space for deep conversation. Years ago, I began taking my oldest son. He and I have birthdays that are within 10 days of each other. And he and I started going to restaurants. We like to go to Red Lobster for our birthdays, a joint birthday, him and I together. And we have been doing that, going to the same Red Lobster every year, taking a picture in the same spot every year for several years now. And it's fun to watch him grow up in these pictures. And we're preparing now to do that in just a few short weeks. Take your children on individual dates and create space for deep conversation with them. That is so important. Teach, and finally, teach your children the value of physical fitness. Teach your children the value of physical fitness. Dad, your kids need to see you exercising. They need to see you struggling. They need to see you working out. They need to see you set the standard for the family. Because the reality is, obese people raise obese kids. Healthy people raise healthy kids. So that's it. That's it. I want you to leave a legacy for your children. And it's not found in your bank account. It's not found in what you leave them. It's left in your daily habits that you create with them. You can't lead without discipline. You need to discipline yourself. Don't follow your heart. Lead and discipline your heart. Don't wait for motivation. Rely on discipline. I encourage you to tune in next time as we look at this issue, which will be part 2. We'll break down the disciplines of the mind, the spirit, and your purpose in life. These next two episodes, this one and the next one, which are all about discipline, all about leading your heart, are two of the most important episodes you could ever watch. These are battlefields that every man faces, and only disciplined men will win these battles. I'm Carl Wimmer for First Responder Fitness, reminding you, be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.